Jesse Williams is passionate about the issues affecting the city of North Charleston and Garrett Academy of Technology. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I sit down with the community activists one-on-one. Well, Jesse,
yes,
it is so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I appreciate this. Well, let me take you back to May 29th. You sent the following to me on the Facebook Messenger. You said this: Quintin, I hope you are having a great Memorial Day. I want to see if I can do an interview with you sometime. I also want to update people on the Garrett Tech issue. So as we sit here right now, what is the issue at Garrett?
So Garrett Academy of Technology, it's been defunded for over 5, 6, 7 years, over almost 10 years now, and underfunded. In fact, in 2010, there was an article stating that Garrett Tech was the only school in Charleston County School District that did not have air conditioning, and this was in June. And so there's been just for some reason or the other, this historical just underfunding, defunding, and then about a year ago, we found out that the school district wanted to close Garrett Academy of Technology down,
right.
Period. And I think a lot of people know that the demographics there is highly African-American students.
You talk about closing down the school as far as Garrett Academy. When you heard about that news back in March, where were you emotionally?
So when I heard that news, I was actually emotionally prepared. I had been able to partner with people like Pastor Thomas Ravenel, other people in the community, Marvin Pendarvis, right. And we had already started a group called People United to Save Garrett. Right. And that group was started last year. And so, and we had kind of had some talkings with the schools. Emotionally prepared, but also I was disappointed.
And when you talk to the people in the Garrett technology community, what are they saying to you?
They're telling me it's a good school. Alumni have told me that they've been able to get jobs coming out of the school. In fact, I actually got my hair cut at a haircutting place down in Tanger Outlet, right. And some people there are alumni, and they said that they got certified at Garrett and helped them get jobs.
Wow. And
just so many people are telling me that it's been a good thing for them. It was a good thing for me as well when I went there.
And if you were to sit down with Dr. Jarita Postway or anybody from the Charleston County School District right now, what would be your first question to them one-on-one?
I would ask Jarita Postway, is she doing everything that she possibly can to keep that school open, seeing as though it's helping so many children in Charleston County School District? It's a countywide school.
Let me move really from Garrett Academy to another location in North Charleston. You actually posted this on your Facebook page on May 26th, and it says the following: we're inviting the entire Low Country to join us for the Up From the Ashes Community Empowerment Rally and the Joshua 6 March. So tell me, what issues are you really bringing up from the ashes?
Economic issues, educational issues, and predatory stores. Areas like Dorchester Wayland, Dorchester Terrace, right. have been historically had no voice, and for so many different reasons. Therefore, those areas have been seen as essentially dead, right? And so a lot of people, in fact, when they make plans in areas like Wayland, right. Russellville, even Union Heights, they won't even regard any of the history in those areas. And in fact, they'll come up with new neighborhood names. So bringing up the voices from the ashes, and so that was one thing that we need to see happen.
When you think of the history of Ferndale and obviously Union Heights, what do you want to explain to people about that?
It's a history that we should embrace, because I think when we embrace the history of an area and not disregard certain neighborhoods, we can do ourselves a service. I think it makes us better people when we can respect others, and when we can truly come together, and where it's not just a marching over a bridge together for one day. So when you look at areas like that, I'm sitting on the board of LAMC as well, right. And we're putting together historical tours. Union Heights has been around since the 1800s. Right. And it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, we should really respect those areas. And I know it's a thing that's not done, you know. Mm-hmm. People talk about economics, and they'll say that economics is going to it's going to push it over there, and it's going to be development. There's nothing people can do about it. But I'd like to beg to differ on that.
Matter of fact, you said this on May 11th. You said this quote, "Tonight, Jesse Williams spoke to the North Charleston City Council concerning the need to invest in the people in the city. Also, why can't we invest in Garrett Tech, a trade school, when North Charleston invested in a new Shakora Elementary? If there are funds to invest in subsidizing a neighborhood, the city should be able to deal with the drainage issues in neighborhoods like Park Hill, Retreat, and Russell Dale. What other issues are they having in those particular areas, I should say?"
So take Russell for example. I took a picture of a street on Russell, actually right by the neighborhood sign.
Right.
And so flooding. Flooding is an issue. A lot of times when you have new developments being built, and I'm not against development by all means. What I am for is for responsible building and for the respecting of people who are already living there. So a lot of times when you have new developments, what's going to happen is that the marshlands and the trees are taken down, therefore they can't absorb the water as they did before. So the drainage ends up draining into these old neighborhoods like Russellville if the drainage is not taken care of. So it'll rain heavily, and these neighborhood streets will be flooded for days on end, 3 or 4 or 5 days. What you find is that you're susceptible to disease, where you see mosquitoes flying around, all these things. So Russell, that's an issue. No street speed limit signs in the neighborhood whatsoever. Kids cannot go outside and ride their bikes. It's like a third world country sometimes, you know? And so those are the issues that we ignore a lot of times. So that's some of the things that we see.
When you think of North Charleston as a whole, write the headline for me. North Charleston is progressing to what?
North Charleston is progressing into a good city for some, but not for others. That's just off the top of my head, just in everything that I've seen. And yes, it's making progress, but at what cost to human life? So are we going to choose the big money, and are we going to choose the developers and those interests? Or are we going to be able to look at our neighbors in the eyes as elected officials and as community advocates? Look our neighbors in the eyes and say that we are doing everything I could possibly do to help make your life easier in North Charleston.
And a lot of people don't know this, but you actually, and I want to take it way back, because you actually attended Garrett High School, and I believe you came here to the College of Charleston?
Yes. Yeah.
For those who don't know, who is Jesse Williams beyond being a community activist?
Grew up in a single parent home. My mom was, what she was. Me and 5 kids. Me and my 4 siblings. I love people. I love people. I try to help translate the things that's happened in my life into being able to help others. There's an old proverb that says, "Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." I don't do it because I want to be refreshed necessarily, but I know that's a thing that's going to come. It's like what goes around comes around. Right. So I truly believe that when we help others, we somehow benefit in the process. So. And
I won't be able to interview you between now and June 17th, but we're really right down the street from Mother Emanuel Church, and obviously the 2nd year anniversary of this tragedy is coming up. Okay, 2 years ago to right now, what is the biggest thing that still sticks in your mind about the tragedy?
Coming out of that tragedy, there was a lot of progress that was made, but the things that really truly mattered that could have happened, that could have been made, hasn't been made as far as progress for some people. I still see that there's people are fighting for basic gun reform. I still see that's happened. I think that a lot of people, there's this kind of 2 worlds in a way since Mother Emanuel, right? So you have some big gatherings, but that just happens at that one day. It happens all the time. Where you have events, people come together, you have moments where you have some good talk and people speak back and forth. You make a little bit of strides, but then the strides aren't made for the people that truly are being done injustice to, right? So when you have shootings like that, obviously it would have been good to have some good gun reform, have some balance with that. Economics hasn't changed hardly any for the low-income communities. A lot of people, Mother Emmanuel actually, some of the people that goes to that church actually lives in Dorchester, Wayland. And there was some articles about that. I would like to see a lot more strides in the way of job economics, in the way of contracting to be able to be spread. There was a Days of Grace that happened. And so coming out of Days of Grace, they put together a charter. And in that charter, people laid out what they would like to see. And I would say maybe like 0% of that's been accomplished.
As you know, the Charleston loophole, the so-called Charleston loophole, was stalled in the General Assembly this year. Why do you think it stalled in your mind?
Because I think there's a vast disconnect between communities, and so you have people who label things politics when it should be labeled politics. And in my mind, I would like to see certain labels be kind of moved to the side and say, let's just put all these terminologies off to the side. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, conservative, independent, Christian, whatever, and let's just come down and sit down at the table. And so I think it's stalled because we can't put our differences aside, and a lot of people hold on to ideologies rather than saying, let's just sit down and see what the best it can be as far as policy for the people. That happens on the local level, state level, and I don't know much about the federal level right now because I haven't been looking much into it.
Okay.
But I know that South Carolina, that can be bettered and improved.
Well, Jesse Williams, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Quintin, thank you so much.
Thank
This
you.
went by too fast.